get on. So it's Melodics Monday, so I haven't had a chance to practice my finger drumming since last week. So we'll see if my brain's had a chance to assimilate some of the things I was doing last week. So I'm on lesson 2.3. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of just kind of do it on a live stream. So maybe if you're not used to seeing Melodics, or you don't know how it works, and you've been thinking about it, or you're interested in it, you can see how cool it is. Cool. All right. So this is where I was at. Oops. Let's go back and play the step. So it's hard. I'm finding that really, really hard. Move that out of the way. It's hard to get. That's all right, but it's the coordination of the two index fingers playing the snare and the hat together. But let's give it a go. Here we go. Okay, I forgot about the open hat, so still not good enough. So this is something I think is really important when you're learning an instrument. Is don't move on to the next stage too quickly. It needs to be a muscle memory. So you need to. There's the stuff in your brain called myelin, which is insulation that insulates the pathways of your brain when you're trying to develop a new skill. So you have to give your brain the opportunity, and the nervous system to basically create this insulation around pathways in your brain. So a lot of time, if you move on from something too quickly, you don't give yourself the chance to actually really create that as a pathway. So even though it might be a little bit boring, I'm going to carry on and try and get this really nailed. So what's interesting is trying to work out is if I'm finding it easier to move the finger. So it's getting better. So it's interesting. What I'm trying to do is, I find this with my piano practice as well, I'm trying to be super in tune with my body and my body movements to try and find what's the easiest way of being able to do it, and what's the way of being able to do it with as little movement as possible. So kind of economy of movement and with the most relaxed wrists, arm, back. This isn't the best chair to do it in actually, but so I'm trying to have like really solid fingers and really snappy wrists. And Also, it's a good idea to separate out the parts. So I don't remember actually if I go back a step, how do I do that? Lesson steps, and the kick and the snare. So maybe it'd be a good idea to actually just do the kick and the snare a couple of times and just try and get that really locked in. So I'm always trying to simplify the cognitive load to create a pathway for that before I overcomplicate it if I can't do it perfectly. So I have a tendency to rush when I'm finding something hard, which I've got to try and be aware of. So a little wrist movement seems to be quite a good way of doing it. I don't know how I was too early on a couple. Let's try it again. I'm also trying to kind of almost grip the pads when I'm doing it. Really get that strength in there. Okay, let's have another go with the hat. Yeah, it's really hard with coordination. Okay. Ah! Okay. Yeah, so it's that movement from the middle to the index finger. I'm making that the second one of those too long and sluggish. It needs to end up being really tight. So I'm getting to 98, so that's not bad. So let's try one more time just to really get that assimilated. So it's all in the wrist. If you get that wrist really snapping. Okay, so let's go on to the next step again. So okay, let's try it. Let's do it. getting a little bit tired there, I think. On the old hands and wrists, a little break. Should probably do a little warm up before I do this. So maybe this one is one where, might practice this a little bit slower. Really powerful. You shouldn't actually practice things slow, fast if you're doing it wrong, because you're just myelinating, you're insulating the pathway of how to do it wrong. So you want to avoid that. So if you can't do it properly, which I haven't been doing actually, you should be doing it half the speed perfectly and then building up. It's so powerful. Let's try again. Okay, I think I'm ready to try another performance. It's feeling better, but it's not good enough. But it's feeling better. What was I noticing there? Can't remember now. Yeah. So what I find when I'm doing this, it's the same with the piano. You get a build up of tension in different parts of your arms, your back, your hands, wherever, and it's all about trying to recognize that tension and kind of dissipating it. It might just be it might be in the way you're actually doing it, or maybe just shaking things out. Make sure things are loose, nothing's kind of tense. Really helps, because a lot of the time you're not able to do it because I was feeling tension here, and that means it was getting all a bit too static. So that's a lot of the battle, is trying to just alleviate the tension that accumulates. Let's try that again. That was terrible. I need to just get up and have a little stretch. As I said, this chair is really good for not having you just slouched over all day, but it's not very good for this really. I wonder what it was like if I stood up. So okay, I might do a couple of more tries and then I might just leave it there. Right, it's getting real now. Let's get the jumper off. Okay. What I'm trying to focus on is that last, when I transition to the index finger, is make that nice and staccato, and also just slight movement of my left hand across from the wrist. Okay, let's try again. Terrible. So I have to find that when I start to think about what I'm doing, that's when it all falls apart. As soon as you start thinking about it, and that's again with the myelination and the insulation of the pathways, is that when you're insulating the pathways, it gets to the point where that's when it becomes an automatic process. So when you're learning to drive, you have to think about everything you're doing, and then once you do it enough, you myelinate the pathway. You could be thinking about anything while you're driving once you've been driving for a long time, because it's completely an automatic process. You know exactly what you need to do, and that's when you're doing something like this, that's what you're aiming for, is to get it so it's an automatic process. So when you watch an amazing pianist, they could be talking to you and playing the piano, very complicated stuff, two hands doing different rhythms, because it's so the pathways are so well insulated. And as soon as you take it out of that automatic process and you think about it, that's when you make mistakes, because actually the automatic part of your brain is far better at executing the action than the smaller conscious part of your brain. So if you're asking the conscious part of your brain to do it, it's not going to be as efficient. So as soon as I started thinking about what I was doing, that's when I started making mistakes. Okay, so I think I'll just do one more. And then we'll call it a day for now. So there's a setting here called full level, because I find these are too sensitive. So sometimes I'm missing the. Oh, that's weird. So it means that no matter how hard I hit it now, I'm going to get the same level. I'm going to give it one more go. It's not helping at all, actually. Let's try again. Terrible. Getting worse and worse. And that is telling me that I need to stop. And if I was doing this was a long practice session, take a break, get up, move around, take 5 minutes, come back to it, because actually you don't have that much capacity to concentrate, and especially when it's physical as well. So you're better off taking, like, even to do shorter section, and that would have been better, because actually I started off much better than I ended. So it's always better to do shorter sessions broken up into chunks with breaks than it is to try and do too much in one go. Okay, so that's Melodics Monday once again. I'll be back next Monday with another Melodics Monday, hopefully moving on from this beat. I might try and do a little bit of practice in the week and then pretend I haven't, so I look like I've made loads of improvement. But it's probably not great viewing to do the same beat over and over again. But going to be working on some exciting stuff for the rest of the day. I'm doing some t-shirt designs for the new website that I'm going to launch for Get to Know. So I'll have news on that to come. So yeah, thanks everyone who's tuned in, and I'll be back live streaming again later on in the week with some music. I'm going to try and do a live stream of just coming up with some music right on the spot. It's really kind of quite scary, but quite exciting at the same time. So I might do that on Wednesday maybe. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, hope everyone's well. Cheers.